What's up, millionaires? It's your boy Millionaire E coming at you with a TV show episode review. Now, the TV show we're going to be talking about is My Hero Academia, episode 10, season 5. And before we get started, I put out a previous video which was my experience at Buc-ee's. Now, what I didn't tell you is I went to a comic convention or a comic place where they sell and had a whole bunch of vendors. And I bought a few comics and a few other things, which I'm going to show you. So the first two things that I bought were 2 comics. The first one is a Ultimate Spider-Man comic, which is a little bit different from all the other comics. I've read some of these, and I'm like, the art style looks really, really nice. As you can see, look at that. And they add Kitty Pryde to it. And the next one is basically a Batman and Superman. And this is, from what I can tell, is a series because I saw this one, and the reason why I wanted to buy this is because I have this one, which is Batman and Superman Vengeance. It's a really cool comic because it showcases some characters like it has Mxyzptlk, Mr. Mxyzptlk, Batmite, and Batzarro, Buzzarro. Really cool comics. And the thing that I bought was, I like My Hero Academia, as you can see with the big old poster right there. I got myself a My Hero Academia poster. And right there, you see? And it's a really, really nice fabric. Or either fabric or, I don't know, plastic. Which is really cool. And the last thing that I got is I know my sister likes Demon Hunter. And I got her this Demon Hunter keychain. Because I'm celebrating her birthday. We're celebrating her birthday tomorrow. And she's the one who has introduced me into anime, basically. Like any anime, My Hero Academia, Reincarnated as a Slime, Hunter x Hunter, just everything. She's introduced me into that. And that's why, I'm going to get her this. I got her this keychain. A really cool keychain. Now we're going to be talking about My Hero Academia. And before we get started, spoiler alert, for anyone who's not seen the episode, I don't want to spoil it for you. It is a very good episode. Now let's get started, y'all. Now, we're going to set the stage first, because this is the final battle. The climax. The end of the movie. The conclusion. Well, not as the conclusion, but. So, basically, we have Meteor. He has the All-for-One quirk, as everybody knows. He's kind of made it into shooting style where he can use his legs now. There's him. So then we have Haruka. Basically, anything she touches with her hands will float and lose gravity, and then basically when she touches the pads of her fingers, because she has these pads on her fingers, basically, it'll fall, basically. And we have Mina, she can shoot acid out of her hands, she can skate on it, she can melt stuff with her acid. And then the last person we have Mineta, which is a weird quirk, because Mineta basically has these purple balls on his head, and he can, it's his quirk, he can take them off and throw them, and basically, if somebody steps on them and they're stuck to a surface, they're stuck there. And how long they're stuck, it depends on how he's feeling. So basically, if he's feeling real strong, it's going to be stuck forever, almost. So, and then also another thing is, if he throws too many of those balls off his head, because they reappear as he throws them, he'll start bleeding, which is pretty weird. But let's start out with class B now. So, with the occasion, Shinso. So, Shinso has mind control ability. And basically what happens is, if he talks to anybody and they respond back to him, he can control them via his brainwashing ability. And he did this to Meteor in the first season. Like, it was way, way far. I think it was either season 1 or season 2. And the other characters we have Poltergeist, which basically her ability, that's not her name, but that's her quirk, is she can pick up objects, make them levitate, basically. And then we have this guy named Twin Impact, and his ability, it's really, really kind of confusing, and I'm going to try to explain it the best way I can. So basically, think of a gun being shot, and he can make that gun being shot twice. And the second time, it's worse than the first. So basically, you shoot the gun and the force of the bullet there, and then he can make the force of the bullet the second time, like, much more worse. Yeah, it's kind of weird. And then the last quirk kind of reminded me of Haruka's quirk. Her quirk is she can literally make things small, basically, and then also make them big. But the cool thing about it, and the reason why it reminded me of Ruka's quirk, is because she shrunk objects to like a smaller scale, but then when they were like in position, she touched her palms like that, and they turned like either big or small back to the regular size. And I'm like, oh, that's pretty cool. So in this episode, we take in mind that Meteora's quirk has been acting a little weird because he's been seeing visions of the past successors and everything. So in this episode, it happens, and when I say it happens, like his quirk, he manifests another quirk. And basically, how it happens is basically he's encountered by Mona, and what happens is like tentacles come out of Deku's hands. And I forgot, Mona, the one character, Mona's quirk is copy quirk. He can touch any person and basically copy their quirk for 5 minutes. He can't use 2 quirks at the same time. He can only use one, which I think is a really cool quirk. But Meteor is attacking Mona, and what happens is like the tentacles come out of his hand, and Meteor can't control it. He's like, oh gosh, get away, get away, get away, get away. And everything's happening. He's causing Meteor is causing chaos and stuff. And basically he ends up where he goes straight in there where Shinso is hiding, because Shinso is more, kind of a tricky kind of hero because he's hiding there and he wants to, use his brainwash. And Meteor's like, move, get out the way, get out the way. Because it's like, this quirk that manifests is like, it's deadly. Like, he's literally but fighting his teammates. So he's flying around with this quirk, not being able to control it. And I'm like, this is where I felt like Aruka kind of came out of herself. And what I mean that is, she's not just like that one character that loves the main character. I felt like she was actually a character because it showed her story first. And then it showed that she genuinely cared for Deku because she jumped onto Deku and then convinced Shinso, who is, may I remind you, not on her team. This is a competition to literally use his brainwash on Meteor so his quirk would stop. So she convinced him to do that, and basically while this is happening, Meteor is kind of knocked out and he's in this kind of limbo zone. And this is where he sees one of the successors, and he learns that basically All For One has the ability, and it's grown stronger since its past successors, and it has all these quirks of the past successors. So the successor that he met, that was his quirk that was manifesting. And it's basically the Black Whip, where he can use it to capture people. But the ironic thing is, the reason why I was acting all strange and acting crazy is because Meteor was like, he used it because he was angry, basically. And he was like, you got to control your anger. And I was like, that's ironic because first, Meteor had to use, to get his, shoot style, he had to control his output of his ability or it would, break his arm, basically. So I'm like, that's ironic that he has to, go over this whole thing again to control another ability. And speaking of another ability, this man told him he's getting 6 more abilities, which I'm like, dang. I'm like, All Might ain't got nothing on this. All Might was like, I'm strong, bam, flash, boom, haha. But I'm like, Meteor is getting 6 abilities? Dang. So, the dude kind of tells him, these are all our abilities all wrapped up into one place, and you're getting them, and you have to master them. Just continue to master the abilities till you can use them. You don't want to hurt anybody. Don't use your anger against them. So then, after that, he wakes back up, and, the episode doesn't end, but they get ambushed, where, now it's it's the battle. It's Class A versus Class B, because, Class B was like, hey, what was that all soppy moment? Let's fight him. So they ambush him, and, Meteor's like, what do I do? So he's thinking of what to do, and that's the end of the episode. So I'm like, I'm really excited to see the next episode, because when I first thought of, Class A versus Class B, I was like, ooh, man, I don't know. Is Meteor going to lose this battle, the 5th battle? I don't know. But now I'm seeing, now he's had that, accident. Now he's more, confident and kind of comfortable. So, like I said, check the episode out if you haven't seen it. And if you haven't seen the series, I encourage y'all to check it out. I love me superheroes, and I love My Hero Academia. And remember, like the video, share it with your fam, and subscribe. And if you're subscribed, click that bell icon to be notified for more videos. And I'll see y'all later, millionaires, and have a blessed day. Bye, y'all.